This is a cautionary tale. Look up from your phone. Turn away from your screen. This is The Gods Are Alive, mythological feedback loops, Echo and Narcissus. First, there was Echo. The chattiest of the forest nymphs, Echo was given the task of stalling goddess Hera when Zeus was with one of his many amours. Echo would charm Hera, keeping her in conversation as Zeus made his escape. This worked for a while, until Hera realized what was happening. When she did, her anger ran like blood after a war, and in a fit of absolute rage, Hera cursed the forest nymph.
Your tongue has made a fool of me. Henceforth, your voice will be more brief, my dear. You will always have the last word, but never the first.
With that, Echo was cursed. Echo, who loved to talk, would no longer have words of her own, and instead, only be able to repeat the last words spoken by another person. And then there was Narcissus. All who looked upon Narcissus fell in love with him. His eyes were like twin stars, and his curly golden hair framed his cheeks as smooth as ivory. It was as if Zeus himself had carved the boy out of marble. But he was not humble in his beauty. All who knew him knew he was too involved with himself to ever love another. One day, as he was riding his horse, hunting deer in the woods, Echo spied him. Her heart burned like the flame of a torch, and she yearned for nothing else. She secretly followed him through the woods, falling more and more in love with each step. As she got closer, Narcissus heard the rustling in the leaves.
"Who's here?"
he cried out.
Here,
Cried back Echo. Perplexed, Narcissus continued looking around the forest for the voice.
"Stop hiding. Let us meet,"
he said.
let us meet.
Echo cried back, no doubt happy to be able to say what she felt. She stepped out from behind a tree and rushed to embrace Narcissus, who promptly pushed her away.
"Let me go. I'd rather die than let you love me,"
he said as he ran through the woods, away from her. And as he ran, all she could cry out was,
Love me, love me, love me.
Heartbroken, there was nothing else left for Echo to live for. She quietly found herself a cave to live out her days in. Narcissus, however, was yet to find his true love, and like Echo, he would never feel the embrace or warmth of it. As he hunted in the woods, he came upon a hidden lake. Its waters were untouched by animals, gods or humans. It glistened ever so slightly in the sun and had a still, smooth surface. Tired from hunting, Narcissus leaned over to quench his thirst when he saw someone stare back at him. Hair golden as the sunlight, a face carved out of marble, piercing blue eyes. Narcissus was in love. In love with his own reflection. He spoke.
"Oh, you are so beautiful."
And from the mountains came the echo.
Oh, you are so beautiful.
Still enraptured by his reflection, he said,
"Oh no, you are so beautiful."
and Echo, still listening with greater love, called,
Oh no, you are so beautiful.
Narcissus would spend the remainder of his life listening to his own words shouted back at him as he gazes at his reflection. Days turn into weeks. He does not eat. He does not sleep. He doesn't drink because to have a sip of water would mean to disturb his love, his reflection, his mythological selfie. When death finally took him, his final words to his reflection were,
"Goodbye, my love."
and Echo cried her final reply to him.
Goodbye, my love.
Soon after, Echo began to waste away too. With time, her skin shriveled, her beauty faded, and her bones turned to stone. Only one thing of hers remained: her voice. Both Echo and Narcissus lost themselves to something neither could have: a connection. Narcissus could never have it because he cared for no one but himself. In time, he would lose his self to his own image. Echo, in her pursuit of Narcissus, lost herself to him. Narcissism is not limited to being obsessed with your looks. It can be the inability to accept and acknowledge imperfection in oneself, and pride in one's intelligence and status. 3.5 billion people worldwide use some form of social media today, and there's no denying that an overwhelming majority of the internet is a cesspool of shameless self-plugging. Buy my book. Buy my course. Buy my makeup line. Look at what I eat, what I wear, how I travel in first class and vacation in 5-star hotels. Look at me. Look at me. Please. Look at me. We enter an echo chamber of sorts, where people validate us with likes and retweets just like Echo validated Narcissus. The dopamine rush it gives is exciting and addicting. And as we continue to get the dopamine rush from validation, we feel a greater need to put out more content that would further validate us. The self-love and quest for attention turn into an obsession, and soon, we can't help but go back to posting on our feeds, checking for likes and comments, and feeling upset when we don't get the attention we hoped. Nothing else matters. It's all about the life and persona we present on social media. We are essentially looking at our own reflection and getting nothing of substance in return. It's not a desirable mental state, is it? Even Narcissus, when he discovered he could not touch or embrace his love, his self-image, could not even cry for fear of disturbing his reflection. He could not eat. He could not sleep. He could not weep. This hollow, superficial existence was all he knew. Narcissus lost himself to his personae. The cruelly named positive feedback loop, the instant emotional gratification, the empty self-reflection, became the only thing that mattered, echoing another until we find we do not have the words that are our own. Seeking that validation comes at a cost. For Narcissus, it meant starving to death. For us, it means we confuse social media profiles for human connection. We view our lives and those of others through screens, and miss out on what goes on beyond the pixels. But we can't stop, because we finally found the love that validates us, even if it's not real. How could life have been different for Narcissus had he looked up and realized Echo's love? Maybe they would have a happy life together, or perhaps he would make no attempt to understand her curse and simply continue hunting deer. Either way, Narcissus would look beyond his reflection and live his life rather than waste away pursuing gratification he will never, ever get. Maybe Echo might have moved on and found a different, more understanding love if Narcissus finally left the forest. So many ifs. We can't say for sure, but the point is, there can be endless possibilities once the object of obsession loses its charm. But social media isn't likely to ever get less addictive, so sadly, it's up to us and our willpower to let go. Look up from your phones. Look up from your digital reflections, or suffer the same fate and waste away. This is The Gods Are Alive, where we explore myths and their modern equivalents, stories of gods old and new and what truths they have. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Thank you.